What's up, gamers? It's your boy JKon. Welcome to another video. With the 2024 VCT season right around the corner, I thought it'd be fun to go through my pick'ems for the kickoff tournament and see how many of them I can get correct. Of course, my pick'ems may not 100% be correct because of course we have not seen all these teams in action, especially with all of their new additions, but I thought it'd still be fun to go through it nonetheless. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, as it does really help me out and I appreciate it greatly. Also, feel free to comment any other video topics you want me to cover, as I would love to increase my production on this channel. Now, without further delay, let's get into it. The opening matchup of Pacific is T1 versus Bleed, and I think this is going to be an absolute banger of a match, bro. I think a lot of people are kind of down on Bleed. I don't think a lot of people necessarily watched their run in Ascension or how they were playing in the MySG challengers, but they were just rolling over everybody. And yes, they did lose Neff, who is a great support player, and yes, they lost Juicy, who is an amazing duelist player who is now playing for DSG, their affiliate. But anyways, they are an amazing team. Crazy Guy is a very, very good IGL in my opinion. Scary will be contending to be one of the top controllers in the region immediately. That is how good he is. And Darion is very, very good. He's a very capable Jet. He played Killjoy last year. He's a very, very good talent. I think they brought in some of SEA's finest talent. Speaking of SEA's finest talent, they signed Egoist, literally the hard carry of X10 all throughout last year. He was one of the most sought after players in this past offseason, and Bleed were able to secure his services. I don't think enough people are talking about Egoist. This kid is absolutely insanity. Of course, the big Ye signing will cover a lot of that flair, but I think Egoist really is kind of the bigger signing in my opinion, based off their performance from the last year. And of course, Ye coming back. Everybody wants to see Ye back. The chamber buff might be influential or whatnot, but I don't know. I'm excited to see Ye. I've always been a fan of him. I think him repping Bleed is super, super cool. Well, I think that they can beat T1 in their opening matchup. The problem is I'm going to say no. And the reason for that is just because T1 has brought in very experienced players for the most part. Yeah, you could technically say, oh, Rossi has only played in challengers in North America. Rossi has been like the best challengers player, if not one of them, for many, many years. The intangibles that he brings to a roster are so understated. The fact that like when he joined TSM from Immortals, like he instantly elevated the roster. When he joined Turtle Troop last year, he instantly elevated the roster. Then they got bought by Face Clan, and then he instantly leveled up that roster. I think Rossi is just a very, very intelligent player, and I think T1 just look really good for the most part. Yeah, unfortunately my boy Zeta got benched, but Carpe is IGLing now, but I think T1 can take it to Bleed. I think they have the firepower to match up. Style player is nuts as ever. It'll be interesting to see what roles Bleed end up going with, because will Ye be main duelist or will he be flex? I don't know. Guess we're gonna find out. I go with T1 for now. Zeta versus GE. GE just signed Bazzi back again, who did play on their roster last year, and I believe I heard somewhere that Blaze King was suffering from visa issues, which is why they had to sign Bazzi. So I think Bazzi will be playing for this kickoff tournament and not Blaze King, which is a damn shame because I think Blaze King was one of their best pickups this past offseason, for real. I really like what Zeta did. They dropped two of their weakest links. Like Crow had to go. I'm sorry. 10 definitely had some inflexibilities, and keeping Depp off of main duelist is just like a bad call in my opinion. So I think bringing up Hero Ron and Euron and bringing in a new coach in Carlisle, I think they're gonna have a lot to show. I think it's really gonna depend on how, I don't want to say how hard Laz can carry, but he does have a big load on his back. He's the IGL. He's also their best player. So I think it's going to come down to how well Laz performs throughout the year, but in this certain matchup, I think Zeta's going to take it. I think Global just has a lot of questions, and I think I'm questionable on some of their players' ability to frag. So I'm going to go with Zeta there. T1 versus Zeta. I think T1 is just still stronger than Zeta at this stage in time. I think Zeta can be good. I think given more time throughout the year, but again, T1 is just more established players than Zeta does. Bleed versus GE. I'm going Bleed here. I'm sorry, GE. Again, like Bazzi is a great player, but again, they have just too many questions in my opinion. I'm gonna go here. Bleed versus Zeta. Spent so much time waffling about Bleed. I gotta go Bleed. I love Zeta. I'm a big Laz fan. Sakura Vandal King, but the Bleed Hopium is channeling in my heart. So we're going with Bleed. Let's move on to Group B. We have DRX versus Detonation Focus Me. There is no question whatsoever. I don't know what the DFM is doing. They have made so many roster changes that I just don't understand. So we're out of here. DRX did make some changes as well. They cut Zest and RB. They have promoted Foxy9 permanently to the starting roster, as well as signing Flashback. I think Flashback has a ton of potential. Foxy9 has already been like pretty much integrated into the team throughout the year because he did play most of the regular season last year, just not at events. I'm just really sad that they cut Zest primarily. Yeah, RB was really good. Flex God, love him. He's playing with TEC or Tech in China, and I love that for him. I think he's going to do really well. He's going to be one of the best players in China for sure. But Zest, man, like, dude, this guy was like on the main roster of Vision Strikers, then he benched himself for like health issues, and then he came back and like really hard carried the team, was also IGLing for a little bit for them to relieve stacks, and then he was benched during the season, and then he came back with new Viper tech on a completely like quote unquote new role, although I think Viper and Silva players go hand in hand, and he looks so good. His Viper tech during Champions was just insane. The stuff that he was doing on Lotus, the moving the orb on splits on B site was just, it was just really freaking good. So I'm just really sad that Zest is no longer there. I don't think Zest was a problem, but DRX definitely had a problem, which was, yeah, you're making top 4, but is that enough to win a championship? No. And I think if you're vying for a championship, you got to make some gambles. And this is their gamble. I'm interested to see what roles people will play, because Flashback was, I've only seen him on Viper pretty much, but I think he'll probably take over like quote unquote main Sentinel. But will Foxy9 or Buzz be flex? The only problem is I think Buzz is the best duelist on that team, so I don't want to take him away from duelist, and I think Foxy9 just didn't look in sync with them as much when he went in. So I don't know, it depends on the roles, but I just think DRX just they have the quality of players for sure. Team Secret versus Talon. Talk about another team that have no idea what they're doing. Talon, they signed Surf. Cool. My opinion, I think Cruz is probably going to be phasing out of the roster more often than not, and most likely be a 6th man. Lenny will be the new IGL, which I think is going to be pretty hype, facing his old team here. I wonder if you'll have any of like similar calls for them. But I'm not high on Ban. Governor was solid. I think he brings a lot of intangibles, but yeah, no, Team Secret, going with them. Jeremy and Envy are crap. They're cracked. Yeah, there's some question marks with some of their new picks up. I think they've got NDG, and I forgot who else they signed, but Jeremy is him, bro. Jeremy's him. DRX versus TS. Unfortunately for TS, DRX is just going to clap their cheeks. They might give them a run for their money. I can't say clap their cheeks. I actually think Team Secret can bring it to them. I think Jeremy can like easily contest if Foxy9 is on duelist, but if Buzz is on duelist, Buzz is the best duelist in that matchup. Talon versus DFM. I think Talon's gonna take it over DFM. Yes, DFM has the core of Crazy Raccoon. Unfortunately, Crazy Raccoon really didn't do that great during challengers, so yeah, it's cool, but they also dropped JoJo, and I thought JoJo would lead them to victory, so I'm out on DFM. We're going with Talon in the mixed up. Now we have a rematch between Talon and Team Secret, and we're going with TS here. No question. They'll beat them down again. Let's go on to Group C, the last group of Pacific. Gen G versus RRQ. I am quite high on the RRQ team. I'm not going to lie. I think bringing in Estrella is really, really good. I thought he's a very underrated player on D+. He played quite well last year. He was the IGL last year, so he can secondary call for this team. I believe Zafiro is going to be the IGL now. I don't know if he was it last year. I know Flipstrider was IGL for a while. So I think they're trying to relieve Flipstrider of IGL duty so he can just frag, because that man's different. Flipstrider can click some heads, bro. Let me tell you that. So I think RRQ is going to be really good. I'm missing even the biggest sign. They signed JKon, bro. JKon's, talk about different, bro. Think about going 0-14 on bind, getting absolutely dominated by a team that just knows so much VOD review of how you're going to peak, so they know exactly where you're going to be, and coming back and top fracking for your squad. I'm just saying, he's different. I think RRQ is going to be very good this year. Definitely in the top half, for sure. Paper X versus RRQ, no question in my mind. I'm a Paper boy through and through, 100%. Been that way since day one, baby. We're going with the Paper boys. I love Manette. I am so high on the Manette signing. I think they were definitely trolling in the off-season events like Africa TV. Yeah, they made it to the grand finals, but again, they were playing with Jing. As much as I love Jing, I don't think he's going to be on this roster for this year. So giving playtime and having Manette integrate and have that more time, I feel like they got the vibes. Like watching their vlogs and shit, man, like they got the vibes, man. Manette fits this team like really well. I love it. Paper boys all the way, man. RQ versus Gen G. I think RQ will take this again. Same reasons above. Just I think RQ just is going to be better. Gen G, I have question marks about them. Meteor did switch to Sentinel and they were having texture play duelists, which I like because texture is really good. Charon looked okay, if I remember correctly. So, I don't know. Gen G has just some questions to me. I just think RQ will just beat them down with firepower, honestly. But yeah, that's my Pacific kickoff predictions for the beginning. Let me know down below what teams you are picking to go through. And I would love to see which teams you're supporting for this next year, because I love just seeing what teams everybody supports and why you're a fan of them. Tell me why you're a fan of the team you are, because I just love those kinds of stories. Like, how does fandom become a thing? I'll tell you, my original fandom for esports began with TSM back in season 2, 2012. Man, that's a long ass time ago. But yeah, back in season 2, that's when I started watching League of Legends esports, and TSM was my team since day one. And it's really sad to see how the org has kind of come now, but that's how I am here today. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know who you have progressing forward in the kickoff tournament, which teams you're rooting for, which players you're rooting for. Let me know if you have any questions going into the new season that I can help answer out. I would just love to hear what you guys have to say. I am super excited for this new season to begin. Of course, it's just right around the corner, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. Anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time, stay hydrated. Peace.